she is. My 2010 Dodge Challenger RT 5.7 liter. It was time. Time for something bigger. Time for something better. So this is my first, video log, YouTube thing. Don't know why I'm doing it, but I really love this car, and I want to talk about it, I guess. I'm at Best Buy right now. You can see right over there. Try to find a mount for my car to put the phone in to get some good, stable images. I'm just holding it with my hand right now. Didn't want to do that. But this is my first video, so why not be a little rough around the edges? They didn't have any good options over there. And the ones they did were twice as expensive as the better options on Amazon. So I'm going to buy something from there instead. Anyways, this is about the 2010 Dodge Challenger. My first muscle car. I have been driving Hondas for the last 5 years. Honda Civics, to be exact. Bought a 2008 Honda Civic Coupe. Like a year and a half later, I didn't like the blind spots on it and a few other things, and I went to a 2013 Honda Civic sedan. Drove that for quite a while, enjoyed the hell out of it. It's a good car. I really like Hondas. In fact, I was of the mindset that I was going to stick with Hondas and probably Civics, but certainly Hondas for the foreseeable future. I just liked the reliability, I liked the gas mileage, I liked everything about them. But I had a few instances where my driving habits, which are on the sportier side, led people to take exception with me, and they would try to cut me off or stop me from driving the way I wanted to, and they were almost always able to do so, because my Civic only had a 140 horsepower and something like 80 torque, and so anybody could at least match me, if not best me. And I was just tired of that, I was tired of people being able to bully me and stop me from driving the way I want. Go to a lane that's about to end, get ahead of some people, and then keep driving. Well, some people will floor their car if they see you trying to get around them. And in a Civic, you just can't really bypass their own speed. So I was thinking, all right, I want a beefier car. But I love my Hondas, so I was going to look at the 6-cylinder, the V6 Accord. But when I was actually looking at pictures of those cars, I couldn't see myself driving them. I enjoy the aesthetic of the Civic, but the Accord looked like something, your grandparents would drive, or a family man, a responsible family man. There was nothing sporty or sexy about it. They were, high quality. The interior was nice, but just the exterior was just and we all know cars are as much about looks as they are about performance. That might be a sticky point for some, but it's just a fact. We like our cars to look a certain way. And so when I realized I wasn't going to go for a V6 Accord, that meant I probably wasn't going to go for a Honda at all. And that opened my perception, my expectations. Where my mind was at was now, okay, if you're not going to go for a Honda, you could theoretically go for anything. So what do you want? What would interest you? And I gravitated instantaneously towards a muscle car. I'd always wanted a muscle car, but I had been of the conceit that I couldn't afford one, that they were impractical, and I've been driving practical cars for so long, and I just figured someday maybe I would get one, but not for a long time. But here I was thinking about trading in my car, thinking about buying a muscle car, and so I started doing a little research, and I realized financially they aren't, depending on what you get, of course, but financially they aren't all that different than the cars I was driving, and that it was possible to get what I wanted, to get what I really wanted. So then it became the question of, all right, if it's possible, what do I want? And I put down on a list, Mustang, Charger, Camaro, the muscle cars, the American muscle cars. I didn't have a Challenger on the list at all because I didn't actually know that Challengers were affordable. I only really thought of the Hellcat as a Challenger. I didn't know that there were RTs or SRTs or Scat Packs or the 6-cylinders, whatever those are called, like SXT or I don't know. I didn't know. I thought that a Challenger was a supercar and that I wouldn't be able to afford it. So my original research was, the Charger and the Mustang. And in fact, when I started, it was all V6s I was looking at, because I'm like, all right, I'm used to a certain gas mileage, miles per gallon. I'm used to economy, and I'm going to take a hit with a V6, but it wouldn't be so bad. So I was really looking at a 2015 Mustang, I think SE is what they're called, the V6s. 2015 is a really, really nice year when the Mustang is redesigned completely, and I would still like to get one eventually, but a GT. And then there was the Camaro, and there was a 6-cylinder that, and the 6-cylinder Charger. And when I contacted my car broker, and I'll do a whole video about car brokers to give you an idea of whether or not they're worth it. When I contacted my car broker, I said, okay, I want these 6-cylinders, or if it's at all possible, find a good price on a Mustang GT. And they have their own process, the car brokers, of what they do and when they do it. And by the time they actually came, when they were supposed to start doing the actual research, I had already changed my mind completely. And I'm like, you know what? No V6s, because I'd been on YouTube just watching reviews, and I'll admit my feelings on the matter. I'd become corrupted, swayed by the YouTubers, that I really wouldn't be satisfied with a V6. That I needed that V8. That as powerful as some of the V6s are, and especially the Mustang, that V6 could really get going. But as powerful as they aren't a V8, and they don't sound like a V8. And I would really, really sort of regret my buy if I didn't have the true V8 sound and feel and torque and power. So by the time, I had originally contacted them, like, I want these V6s and maybe a GT. But by the time it was, like the weekend, this happened all during the weekend. Monday, he was going to start doing his research. I'm like, you know what? Scratch everything I said before. Just find me a Mustang GT. Find me a Camaro SS. Find me a Charger RT. And then, like, days later, like maybe half a day later, or maybe one day later, I had already updated my list again. I'm like, you know what, man? If you can find the 2015 Mustang GT at a price I can afford, because I really don't have a lot of money, I'm like, go for it. But really scratch everything else and just find me a Challenger, because I had now finally realized that Challenger RTs existed, and they were all in the same price as everything else I was looking at. And if I'm going to be completely honest with you, out of all the cars in existence, the Challenger does it for me. I mean, it just does. That aesthetic is goddamn beautiful. You know, it's that retro, like aggressive retro. I mean, it's like we're not even pretending to be a modern car. We are going retro. And yet it still has a modern undercurrent. It's like, I recently told my mother, of all people, I'm like, if somebody gave me $1 million to buy the car of my dreams, no matter what it was, it would still be a Challenger. It would probably be a Hellcat, but it would be a Challenger. This car is my dream car. I mean, it's just me. So when I realized I could afford a Challenger, I kind of updated my suggestion to the car broker again, and I'm like, you know what? Just look for Challengers. And even that took off the Mustang, Eventually, like, I came to Jesus, as it were. I'm like, you know what? I just want a Challenger. I just want that Challenger. Of course, the power of the Mustang is quite a bit bigger than the Challenger RT, and so I was like, maybe I'll still, but it didn't look like I was going to be able to afford one anyway, so I'm like, just screw the Mustang, find me a Challenger. That's an ambulance. All right. Not a cop. I'm not doing anything illegal. And so, yeah, that was, it was now going for a Challenger. And I have to admit, I'll do this in depth in my review or discussion of car brokers, but I didn't wait around for my car broker to do his thing, the things I was paying him to do. I was online just doing my searches, trying to find a Challenger, and I found a bunch, and I started test driving them. And I also test drove a Mustang and I got inside a Camaro SS. They wouldn't let me drive the SS for some reason. But yeah, I got into some cars, and the Challenger just fit me best. I loved it. It's big, it's roomy, it's spacious. And even the way it handles kind of suits me best, because I had a Lincoln Town Car, 1994 Executive, and I really enjoy that luxurious, floaty feel. I don't necessarily need my sports cars to be the tightest sphincter of all, but there's, of course, better performance to be had with that. But yeah, the Challenger just, it suited me so much better. And the Mustang I drove, by the way, was not a GT. It was a V4, a four-cylinder EcoBoost. Speedy little fucker. But, even though it was speedy and it was nice, the interior is nice also, but it's just, it didn't have the spaciousness, the roominess that just put me at ease the way a Challenger does. So I ended up with a 2010 Challenger RT, and I love it. Oh, that's another thing, the red. You saw the color of the thing. It's, this hot rod red with the black stripes on it. When I originally contacted my car broker, I'm like, I want black, I want silver, or dark gray, because I'm not really a colorful person. My clothes aren't colorful, my personality isn't colorful, I'm a dour motherfucker. But when I was doing my own sort of research on Challengers, when I saw it in red, and especially with that black lines on it, I was like, you know what? That would be okay. I would be fine with that. There's just something goddamn amazing about the look of this thing in red. And I'm amazed by how few people drive a red Challenger. I think people have gone away from, that sport car look. You didn't get my finger quotes. Sport car look. Maybe because there's been so many reports of cops targeting red cars. And that may still happen to me. I'm getting there's a bug on my windshield. It distracted me completely. Look at that motherfucker. What are you doing? What are you doing? Get out of here. I'm getting a radar and laser detector. Driving a car like this, I think it's about goddamn time. I should have done it even with the Honda, because I got a few tickets with that thing. Again, I drove it like a sports car. But with this thing, I'm not going to get away with half the things I used to, because a cop would see me doing something fast on the highway in a Honda and they'd be like, I misread that. He's driving a Honda. He didn't do what I think he just did. And he'd let me go. That's not going to happen with this car. I have a feeling. So far, I haven't been pulled over. I've only had this thing for 2 weeks. This is September 22nd, I think. I got it at the very, very beginning of September, if not like the 30th of August. So yeah, a couple of weeks. Just a couple of weeks. Still brand new to me. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, this is a used car, bought it at a Kia dealership, certified pre-owned, only had 38,000 miles on the tank, and was in pristine condition. I mean, pristine condition. No accident reports on the Carfax. I think just one owner. I need to remember that. But, yeah, so, I mean, it's as new as you can really hope for. Within reason, I mean, it's amazing. Of course, this is the older model, 2010, so the interior is that really cheap, just functional nonsense, which is nice, but I will admit that I am most likely, in just a couple of years, going to try to trade this thing in, pay it down as much as I can, trade it in for like a 2015 Scat Pack. You know, as much as I love the RT, yeah, I could definitely go bigger if I can afford it. So, radar detectors, cops, loving this thing. I really got lost there. I was trying to say something. But anyways, it's a great car. Been driving it for a few weeks. Such a big upgrade from a Honda Civic. I mean, I don't think you need me to tell you that. Honda, 140 horsepower. I can't remember the torque. I think it's like 80 something torque. This has got 400 torque. 400 goddamn torque, because it's a automatic. You're thinking it's got 410. No, it's an automatic, so it's only got the 372 horsepower. However, as of last night, I installed the Diablo 91 tune from a Diablo Sport Predator 2, and I'm getting the Intune i3 to give me a little, because I want that 93 octane tune. And here in Kansas City, Missouri, we do have 93 at a few British Petroleum stations. I'm running 93 right now. And the 91 Diablo tune, who knows what my horsepower is right now, but it's supposed to give me about 18 horsepower, 20 extra torque, and I've been driving it since last night with this tune, and it is an update. I'll get into that. I'll do a video on the tune. But yeah, last few weeks I've been driving it just bone stock. Installed a Mopar shifter. Well, it looks like a Mopar shifter, but it's actually a cheap Chinese knockoff that feels not cheap. It feels nice and sturdy. It's a zinc alloy. Instead of spending $150 for the official Mopar from the made in America, this one was $30 off Amazon. And I might still get that or a Hearst shifter, because this one is kind of difficult to keep tight. I have a torque wrench on tighten it. I've had to tighten it already in just a few days. But it's nice. It's really nice. Feels good. Looks good. Is weighty, strong. So anyways, bone stock, I've been driving this for a few weeks. And love it. But as pretty much any RT owner will tell you, that throttle response is a little sleepy, sluggish. There's just too much lag. This thing is capable of so much more, and so I've been looking at the pedal commander to boost the shit out of that. But I went for the tuner first, because I figure anything that I'm going to do to this car beyond stock, I should have the ability to tune it to take full advantage of that. So tune came first. That was my idea. anything I do should start at the tune, and then make adjustments from there. So now, Diablo tune, 91 octane, 91 octane, but she's running 93, and it's a good car. It's a really, really good car. I don't have a lot to compare it to, I'll be honest. I've never really driven a sports car, a muscle car, beyond just a few test drives in the last few weeks to get ready to figure out what I wanted to buy. But I love this thing. I'm finally driving the way that I always tried to get the Honda to drive, you know? I'm able to do the things that I always wanted to do. I've been able to get around to anybody who's slow. I mean, if the traffic will allow for it, but it's like, and I was warned, by the videos, all the reviews of these types of cars. They're like, once you get one, people are going to want to race you. People are going to want to see this car do its thing. And sure enough, in just a few weeks, I've had countless people try and race me. You know, I've had offers. I went to the bank, I was at the ATM, and this older gentleman driving a SUV is like, beautiful car. You want to race? I'm like, oh, no, I'm just getting my money, man, right now. I'm not doing that. And he's like, I've raced a few of those before. He's like, I've got a 5.7 dual turbo or whatever in my car. And I'm like, shit, man, you'd probably beat me. He's like, yeah, I would probably beat you. And the other day I had a Volvo pull up next to me at a stoplight. And it was like a middle-aged man. He had what looked like his teenage kids in the car. And he started revving. And I look over, I'm like, really? And he's got this big smile on his face. He's like, yeah, you want to do this? You want to do this? I'm like, sure. I was already running, not the Diablo 2. I was already running no traction control. I did the key thing to make it completely off because I just do that sometimes because I want to have fun. And this particular stoplight, we both knew his lane was about to disappear. For just a few little bit. So it was going to be a short race, whatever happened. And sure enough, so I'm like, all right, fine, I'll do it. And he just was getting all excited. You could tell that he was out for the evening with his kids, and he just wanted to give them a show. He had no belief whatsoever that he was going to beat me. He just wanted to give them a show. He wanted them to see what my car could do. And I showed them. Peeled out, burned a little rubber, not much, mostly just squealing, and boom! And he floored it too. You could hear that little engine go, but he did not. He did not catch up. He did not keep up. I pulled right ahead. It was fun. And on the highway, there are people who just love to try to match you what you're doing, try to beat you at what you're doing. I had a Charger beat me the other day. I was getting onto the highway. He was in front of me. He tore away. I tore away. And at some RPM, he just pulled way ahead. I'm like, what is in that engine? I don't think that was stock. Or maybe it was a 392. Who knows? But I was not expecting that. But yeah, people just love to challenge you. And it's all for fun. You could tell. I was pulling up next to another Challenger, and my windows were down. So this is after work. This is the kind of traffic that you're not going to be racing anybody in. It was just stop and go, terrible traffic. And I hear from next to me, I want to be you when I grow up. And it's this woman, this young girl. I look over and she's in her Challenger, and she goes, you would dog me. I'm trying to figure out what she's saying. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a 6 in there? She's like, yeah, you got a V8, this is a V6. I'm like, all right on, a beautiful car. And she's like, yeah, beautiful car to you too. I mean, we just, it's a community. People love these cars. They love talking about them. They love commenting and complimenting each other, and I do the same. She had a V6, and I didn't look down on her at all. She's driving a beautiful car, and she loves it. She wants to be me when she grows up. I want to be a Scat Pack when I grow up. There's always something bigger, but as long as you're driving a Mopar, a Hemi, well, she wasn't driving a Hemi, but a Mopar, you're in love. You're a happy camper. These things are just a joy. And so I guess that's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. This is one video of many to come. I'll talk about the tune. It's just a tune, no bolt-ons, no add-ons yet. Maybe those will come. Just a tune, and I'll also talk about another video, my car broker experience, whether it's worth it or not. And spoiler on that, it depends. All right. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm Pinky Powers, and this is my Challenger RT. Goodbye.